All right, guys, it is 1 Eastern time here on the East Coast, and we will go ahead and kick this thing off. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Joshua Pruitt. I am the Senior Tech Solutions Engineer here at DroneSense. And of course, now as I start talking, I've got a bunch of people trying to join. But again, it is Basic Training Wednesday. Today's topic is going to be Interoperability 101. So we have a lot of content to cover today. We have several members from the DroneSense team that have joined us today, as well as members from our Fortress support team that are on the call. But today is all about Interoperability 101. How do we use the DroneSense platform to collaborate with other agencies, even teams within our own agency that aren't a part of the drone team? How do we get this information to the people that need to see it outside of the drone team, outside of our organization? So today's topics that we're going to be discussing: Magic Link. What is it? How does it work? And we're going to move into collaborative missions, try to give you guys an understanding on how collaborative missions work, how we create those collaborative missions, and then how we share those missions out to other agencies. Then we're going to talk about notifications. This is a fairly new piece of the platform, but is an absolute powerhouse feature that we've rolled out here in the past month and a half, 2 months. We'll talk about how to set those up, how to create those contacts, and how to create those contact groups. And then at the end, we will obviously open it up for a Q&A. So first and foremost, let's talk about Magic Link. So Magic Link is kind of a new piece of the platform that we rolled out earlier this year to basically give you the ability to share your live streams without the need for credentials. But even before we rolled out the Magic Link sharing, we already had kind of a way to share your stream via some link sharing. And so I want to talk about kind of the two options that we have in the system today. So starting with option one, this is the oldest version of link sharing on the DroneSense platform. It's simply web.dronesense.com/video on any connected device, whether that's a desktop, laptop, cell phone, tablet, Tesla, whatever the case may be. This is the most secure way of sharing live streams via a link. And the reason I say it's the most secure is because it requires DroneSense credentials, meaning that anyone you share this link to will either have to have some sort of generic credentials into your account or will have had to be added as a user to your account. This link opens up access to all of the live feeds across all missions. One piece to understand with option one is it does not work with the notifications piece that we'll see in a little while. And to me, this is not the most optimal tool for collaboration, which is our focus today. And so based on a lot of feedback that we've gotten from our other Friday working group and some of our power users on this kind of option one, led us to the creation of option two. Now, option two, you can see that link there is a little different. It's still that web.dronesense.com/video, but then you see that /code/mission_code. So those of you that are familiar with mission codes, that mission code will go there at the end where it says mission code. And again, we'll look at that a little closer once we get into missions. There are some security implications with option two because it does not require any sort of DroneSense credentials, meaning this can be shared out, outside of the drone program, outside of your organization. Essentially, it can be shared and reshared with anyone. So there's definitely some security implications there that you as an organization are going to have to, kind of work through and decide within your agency, who is making the decisions on how we potentially share out this information. Because of these security implications, option two, or the Magic Link functionality, must be activated by the DroneSense team prior to you being able to use it on your account. One thing to understand about Magic Link sharing is this only links to specific shared mission codes. But what's great about this is it pairs nicely with the notifications functionality, and it works seamlessly with all of the other collaborative tools that we're going to talk about today. To me, this is truly the best option for sharing this information Again, those security implications are something you guys will have to discuss internally with your teams to make a decision on, hey, who are we going to allow, or who are we going to allow to vet potential viewers of this information. And then down there at the bottom, for those of you on the call that have not activated magic link sharing on your account, if this is something you would like to activate, if you'll just send a link or a request to that help@dronesense.com email address, we can get that turned on in our back end fairly quickly for you. So right now what we're looking at is the main dashboard or main landing page for the DroneSense web console. So starting with setting up magic link, again, once you have sent us a request to have that activated on your account and you get a reply that that has been activated, there's still one final step you're going to need to take to enable it on your account. So for those of you that are account admins, you'll come down here into the admin panel. Top right-hand corner, we're going to go to settings. And from settings, we're going to scroll down just under the MFA, and we see this magic video link. By default, this will be disabled. You'll simply come in, toggle that on. All right, so we're enabled here. So once that is active, the magic link functionality is now active on your account. And you can see right here, this is that same link that I had listed in the slide deck. So now what do we do with this magic video link? So there's a couple of options. You could take this link here, pair it with whatever mission you're trying to share, and you can send it out that way. What do I mean by that? If I jump up here in the Operations Hub, you can see when my mission manager loads in, I have several missions that have codes. So I would take this code and input it at the end of that link. And now when I visit on any browser, any connected device, it's going to take me to a page that is essentially going to list out all available live streams specific to that mission. Once it is shared with one person, so let's say, we send that link to, one of our chiefs, they will then have the ability from within the link that has been shared to them to share either as a QR code or also just simply pass that link along. And then it can continue to be shared and be shared and be shared. We're working on a piece of the platform to basically allow us to audit where these live streams are getting shared. But again, this is a fairly new functionality that we've rolled out. So this is kind of that first iteration. But again, that is kind of magic video link sharing. And with the notifications, this is kind of going to be, I know I'm skipping over the collaborative missions piece, but the notifications is basically going to automate the magic link sharing. Instead of us having to physically pause and either send a text message or send an email with that link and that mission code, we can now set up the system to automatically send out notifications to whomever we decide needs to see this information, and it is all done automatically. So what we're kind of going to do right now is we're going to talk through a mission setup, as well as setting up the notifications for that specific mission. But before we can set up notifications for that mission, I need to have some contacts in the system. So over here on the right-hand side of Operations Hub, second icon from the top is our Contacts Manager. And if I click into this All Contacts, you can see we kind of have two contact types here. All of the people with either a photo or the circle icon, these are actual individuals on our DroneSense account. So these are credentialed members of this DroneSense East account. The other type that you see there are contacts that we have just added simply as a contact, meaning they don't have any kind of login credentials. They don't have access to any kind of data. They're essentially just listed as a contact to be used for notifications. While we're doing that, I'm going to jump back in. So we're in our contacts list here. Up here in the top right, I can very simply add a new contact. Again, we're looking for a first name, last name, and email address. And then we can potentially also add a phone number in there as well. And since nobody wants to be my guinea pig, we'll just kind of dummy this. So what I'll do is I'll do John Joe. go@gmail.com, send email notifications, and then we'll do so what we've done is now we've made a contact, we've given him a name, an email address, we've allowed him to get notifications via email as well as text, and I'm going to add that contact. And so now if I scroll down here, you'll see my my John Doe contact right here. So now he's in the system. I can set him up to receive notifications. But before we jump over to the notifications, the last piece I want to talk about here are groups. Because aside from just sending notifications to individual contacts, we also have the ability to create contact groups. So for example, if I wanted to create a command staff contact group to be notified anytime a drone joined a specific mission, we can create different groups of contacts to be notified based on different missions. There's no limit to how many contact groups you can have. There's no limit to how many contacts you can have, and there's no limit to how many contacts you can have within those groups. It's completely up to you guys on how you choose to set these up. But so once we've created some contacts, we've got some contact groups set up. Now let's talk through creating a collaborative mission. So I'm going to come over here to our mission manager, and I'm going to click that plus sign, and I'm going to go create new mission. And we'll call this Interoperability 101. I'll kick this out for a day. We can add a description. We can add notes here. I can give access to any of the teams that I want. I'm just going to give access to all my teams, and I'm going to make this a training mission. Then I'm going to go into sharing. And again, this is where that magic link piece also comes back into. So if I toggle this mission sharing code on, and I toggle this allow users to share drones and map layers with the missions on, you'll see now I have a mission code that I can set a start date and an expiration date on that mission code. So now this would be the code that we would add to that magic link if we wanted to use the magic link sharing piece. From here, I'm going to come out to notifications, and this is where things get kind of interesting. I'm going to toggle mission notifications on, and we have a couple of options here. When do we want these notifications sent out? Do we want these notifications sent out once the drone takes off? Or do we want the notifications sent out as soon as the camera starts broadcasting, meaning as soon as the drone joins the mission? I always tend to be prefer when the drone joins the mission. And then down here, you can see our notifications piece. What groups do I want to get notified? Or what contacts do I want to be notified? And I can select as many persons, as many groups as I want. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select my name to get a notification. I'm going to limit the notifications to, you can do between 1 and 24 hours. I'm going to have no limit set on my notifications, meaning I will get notified every single time a drone goes active in this mission. Now, again, let's talk through this for a second. Let's say you have a specific mission created for homicide operations. You could create a homicide command staff group. They would be the only group notified once a drone goes live in that mission. As far as a training operations mission, maybe we don't need the entire command staff notified when our guys are out doing training, but maybe it'd be nice for our drone admins or our program administrators to know when our guys are out flying. You can get as simple or as complex with the notifications piece as you want. Different groups, different persons notified for each individual mission, because again, magic link sharing and notifications are all mission specific. So we feel like we've got everything set correctly here. All of our sharing is set up. Our info is good. What I'm going to do now is create. So now you can see I had this Interoperability 101 mission. If I come back into the info button and go under sharing, you see I now have a QR code that I can use to share as well. So again, we have kind of this spectrum of fully automated sharing via notifications, completely manual sharing via that magic link sharing piece, and then now we also have this QR code that we can share as well. So a lot of ways to kind of get this information out. And again, these notifications can be done via text, via email, or both. There's really no difference in what those notifications look like. So I'm going to close this out and we'll pause here for just a minute. Are there any questions so far on setting up contacts, on the basics of notifications, on creating that shared mission? Any questions so far? Again, if you want to put those up in the chat, if you want to just unmute yourself or throw your hand up, we'll pause for just a second. I'm going to start calling names here soon.
Hey, Josh, it's Coit. Hey, man, do you have any suggestions on how far out you should put your expiration date on your notifications?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Coit. So jumping back in here, if I come in back into the information, you see when we create the mission, we have the ability to set an end date for when this mission ends. And we also have the ability to set an end date for this code. So let's say, for example, my mission expires today, or excuse me, my code for sharing expires today, but my mission doesn't expire till tomorrow. Anybody that tries to join via either magic link or using that QR code, they will hit a dead link. They will not have access once this mission code has expired. So this is also a way we can kind of a basic audit of who is viewing our live stream. If we have a mission that's running, let's say for 2 weeks, and we have some concern that maybe this has gotten shared out too much, we can very easily come in and edit. And by disabling this sharing and then re-enabling it, it gives us a brand new code, a brand new QR code. And essentially what happens with that previous QR code and that previous mission is it's now dead. It doesn't lead to anywhere. So again, if there's ever any concern like, hey, maybe we feel like this mission code might have been shared out too much, very easy to come in, deactivate that mission code, create a new mission code without having to modify notifications. Notifications will still be sent out for as long as this mission is activated and as long as you have the notifications enabled.
So, Josh, does that mean, so if I'm partnering, if I'm running some mutual aid with my neighboring organizations or agencies, and I've shared that mission code, that 6-digit mission code, but we had to change it because of security reasons. QR code got out to somebody, or it's already been shared. We'll then have to give those guys, our partners, that new mission code, right?
Correct. That would have to be shared out with whatever agency you're working mutual aid with.
Cool.
Again, we created this mission code, and everything we've talked about up until now has basically been about sharing the live feeds. But there's a lot more functionality that goes into interoperability that I want to discuss. And that's kind of all centered around this mission code. So I want to talk through a scenario. So we got a hurricane barreling down for Houston, expected to make landfall, within several hours. Texas DPS steps in as the controlling agency over all drone operations. Okay. So they come in, they've created a mission like we see here. And now they want to share this mission, not only the live streams, but access to this mission with all of the other agencies in Texas that are coming in to assist that are also utilizing DroneSense. So how do we do that? We come back to the sharing section. This code is crucial. So we take this mission code and we distribute this mission code to all other agencies that are coming in to assist us. That code is then taken by all those other agencies and it's input into 2 places. From an administrative or operations side of the house, when we come into our operations hub and we come to create new mission, you'll see we have an option to add the mission with code. So I go to add mission with code. I'm going to input that 6-digit code here. And I'm going to click add mission. And now that Texas DPS mission that has been created, and Texas DPS is the controlling agency, will now be added to my mission list here. Meaning that I now have the ability to see all the live streams from all the agencies that are operating on that mission. Texas DPS is in control of that mission, but they have shared it with me so I can see the real-time telemetry. I can see the live streams from all the aircraft. I can add feature layers to the map if we're collaborating at that level. But all of my pilots' respective data is going to flow back to my account, meaning flight hours, hardware usage. All of that information flows back to the respective accounts. So this is from the operations side of the house. So now what we're looking at is the mission selection page within the mobile application. And you'll see up at the top, you see that little plus sign. We click that plus sign. We put that mission code in here that has been shared with us. And now we have access as pilots to go out and fly under that Texas DPS mission. So now we're sending them our live streams. We're seeing the live stream from all 20, 30, 40 other agencies that may be using drones and DroneSense on this response. We're all aware of what the other is doing. We can all see each other's live streams, each other's location. We can all share feature layers, but the respective data from each individual pilot, each individual account flows back to that individual user's account. So this is great for large scale, Overwatch operations, or any kind of mutual aid op, or, disaster response. This to me is an incredible piece. But what's awesome, I'm going to jump back over here into the web console. Once we set up these notifications for that specific mission, we can add as many contacts from outside organizations as we want. So now not only are we getting, or is DPS getting notified when someone joins that mission, but anyone that they've added as a contact, or anyone that we have added as a contact to receive notifications on that mission, will get notified as well. So a ton of shareability. Again, it's up to that controlling agency who creates the mission to determine how long this mission is active, how long this code is active for. Once that code is expired, we will no longer have access to that mission. So that's just something to consider as you guys start training with other agencies utilizing DroneSense. It may be smart for you to go ahead and come in and set up a mutual aid mission. Add some of their stakeholders as contacts to receive notifications when a drone joins that mission. Share that code with them. This can be used as a massive pre-planning tool to have all these kind of systems in place well ahead of an operation.
Hey, Josh, just a question. Is everybody that is coming onto this mission going to have access to all the waivers and accommodations of the mission?
So that's going to no. So basically, this is just a mission within DroneSense. It's going to be up to individual organizations to make sure that they are legal to fly in whatever area that is. If we're talking about an emergency TFR, making sure they have SGI clearance to fly within that TFR. We will give you the tools. It's up to you and each individual agency to implement them, safely and responsibly.
Got it. Thank you.
Guys, that is really the collaborative piece of the platform. I want to open it up now. I know this has been probably potentially a lot to take in. We can real quick go back to Brian's question as to what the magic link piece looks like. What I'm going to do real quick is just copy this or get this mission code. And again, I'm just taking this code out from this mission. All right. So this is what it's going to look like, whether you get a notification on your phone, or whether you utilize the magic link, or whether you get a notification in your email. It will come to a list that'll look like this. As you can see, no drones are currently broadcasting. in this specific mission. But if I was to very quickly on my iPad, I'm going to join this mission as a helicopter, join mission. Here in just a second, we should see a device populate. And also up here in the right-hand corner, you'll see now that I have gone into the share page, I have the ability to not only share this QR, but to also share this link. On an iPhone or on any kind of mobile device, you'll have options, to share via email, share via text, AirDrop, Messenger, etc. But this is kind of the list on how you'll see it. All it's going to do is populate a list of active devices, whether those are drones or any other cameras. Simply click the play button, and here we are looking at my iPad screen. So it's not going to open up the full operations hub kind of view. Again, this is just specific to looking at the live streams. And you can see, so we got Coit up here, very easily jump in, hit play on Coit's feed. And here we are looking at out there in Texas. This is Coit's Backyard. But again, very easy for me to X this out. And then again, guys, all I'm going to do, copy this link, and I'm going to paste it in the chat here. So now if any of you guys click that link, you're going to end up at the same page. Again, you're not a part of my DroneSense organization. You're not a part of my agency, but I have determined that you need access to these live streams. And so I've chosen to share it with you. And now for as long as I keep this code active, you have the ability to not only see my live streams, but also share them yourselves. So again, that's where we kind of get back into those security concerns, that it's going to be very important that you vet these people that you're sharing this information with. But this is what this is the view you will get, whether you're on your iPhone, whether you're on an Android device. You're going to land at this page, again, with the ability to share and a list of all active devices in this mission. Remember, this is mission specific. Now, just really quickly, I want to show you guys what it looks like using kind of the older link sharing piece. So what I'm doing is just web.dronesense.com/video. And you can see when I go to that link, it prompts me to a login page. But once I've done the full login, it's going to land me right back at a page that looks like this, minus the ability to share, and will list out all active devices across all missions. So I think the magic link functionality paired with notifications and shared missions, when used appropriately, is an absolute game changer of a tool. The last piece that I want to talk about, we kind of covered this in our first working group when we were talking about feature layers, but you also have the ability to share feature layers within mission codes as well. So what I'm going to do is just get logged back in to my account, share this tab with you. In Operations Hub, again, if we have a mission that's been shared with us, we can come in and we can add to the individual map layers of that mission. Now that is going to be dependent on whether or not this toggle has been toggled on. I would prefer to always see this toggle turned on if we're collaborating, because this means we can get the drones in no problem, as well as the shared feature layers. This means that any of our pilots that are flying under this mission will be able to drop markers, whether they're a part of this controlling account or not, and that all parties involved in this mission will be able to see those markers. So again, there's a lot that goes into the collaborative piece here of the platform. So Brian, right now, Magic Link viewers can only see one stream at a time. There is some internal discussion on how we would implement the ability to see multiple streams at one time. But at least for now, it is limited to one stream. Guys, one piece that I did leave out, totally skipped my mind when setting up contacts. Once you have contacts in place, so for example, I'm in this command staff group, I can very easily send group messages as well to the specific members of this command staff. So you do kind of have a text functionality as well, whether you want to message an individual contact or whether you want to message a group of contacts. And another piece that I left out, you'll have to forgive me, all of our contacts that are members on our account, you'll see when I click on them that their email notifications and text notifications may be toggled off or on. We don't have the ability to edit member contact cards from this section. You would actually have to come into the members and teams place if I wanted to turn off, Ryan's email notifications. So it's kind of an extra step for members of our organization, but for just individual contacts that we've added, it's very easy to come in and edit them to determine, whether they receive text, email, or both. And then it's also very easy just to delete them as well. Because again, once they have just been added as an individual contact, all they simply have access to are the live streams via those notifications that you send out. I hope that made sense. I'm going to jump back in here. Brian, so all of our live streams top out at 720. That's actually a limitation on drones live streaming right now. Even DJI, when you're in broadcast mode, still scales down to 720. But yeah, so all of our live streams will be in 720.
Hey, Josh, I got a question. This is Billy.
Hey, Chief, what's going on? How are you?
One of the things I've done is set up notifications for a mission so that when a drone connects, it would message me with that stream that is now active. And I wanted to be able to copy that and just send that as a text to somebody external to DroneSense to view it. Does that function work? Does that work in that workflow or not?
For sure. So let me actually, I've still got my
Makes it easier on the scene to just copy and paste in a new text and send it.
Right. So you can either copy it and paste it that way, or I'm trying to, let me pull up the.
I tried it a couple weeks ago and it kept giving me an error for the guys that were trying to see it where it was asking for credentials. So maybe I have something set wrong somewhere. I don't know.
So what I would do, and again, I'll turn on my camera here because I'm not going to stream my phone. This is what that text message will look like that you'll receive. And then if you click that link, Chief, this is what I would do. I would click that link that gets you to kind of that list view. And then from that list view in the top right, just use the share functionality. And again, you can send it via text, via email, whatever the case, however you want to share it out. Essentially, Apple will populate any of your apps that have that functionality, whether it's Instagram or Messenger or email.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd kind of be the best practice there if you don't want to actually add them as a notification contact, and essentially you want to make the decision on who sees that information. That would be the best. Once you get that text message or email, click the link and use the share tool in the top right hand corner.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. Because sometimes I don't know who's coming from other agencies or other places that need to see it, and you don't have time to add them in. So.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's what I've seen several agencies kind of take on as best practice. They'll have one or two admins that will get the text notification, and then it's up to them to determine who else needs to see this information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, Chief. Thanks a lot. Guys, we've got about 15 minutes left in the hour. Again, questions, comments, concerns. Hey, I think this would make this better. Let's hear what you've got. If I'll leave comments open. Oh, Chief Cruz, yes, sir. Let's hear it.
Hey, Josh, just to kind of give you an idea, we've been messing with this quite a bit in the West St. Louis County area. We set up two information sharing missions. One, we kind of just called it live streaming for anyone. So when we shared that code, we could care less who shared it with anybody, whether it be your best friend or your worst enemy, because at that point, we was already made the decision. We don't care who's watching what we're doing.
Okay.
But when we wanted to nail it down a little tighter, we created a mission called Joint Operations, and we shared that between the various different fire and police agencies up here.
Excellent.
So we have not used it yet for that purpose, but an example, today's the day we had the structure fire. It was more important for my firefighter to put water on the fire than to put the drone up at that given moment.
Right.
But the police officers who are always there supporting our mission to block the streets, control the traffic, who also have the systems, may be the first agency to launch their UAV to watch it. So it may be the police drone flying and our command staff is watching it until we could free up that first firefighter. So it works across the platform. We've experimented with that. We've done some training exercises where we've all worked together, police and fire. And then it was that joint operations, how it made it work. And we flied missing person searches and things like that. So whether you're the guy that says police or fire on your patch, it makes no difference. We're all sharing that information together across the board, and it works.
That, Chief, that's perfect. That is absolutely how I want to see the system used. You know, do a little bit of, pre-work ahead of time, set up these missions, determine who from our mutual aid group, our mutual aid agencies need to have access or potentially need to have access to this information, and just go ahead and have that stuff shared and ready to go. So you don't have to think about it. So, hey, as soon as I put the drone up, I know all of these individuals are getting the notifications that they need and have access to the data they need. Right. Excellent use case.
The only other thing, and I think you kind of hit on this earlier, I think the world that we work in, is somebody going to share that code with somebody that wasn't intended to get the invite? And the answer is going to be yes. So we know that if we really get into something that we're concerned with, let's say more of a law enforcement thing, that you may have to go in and change that mission code and then let everybody else know that, because as much as we say don't share it with anybody else, they're going to do that.
Yeah, and we've actually already seen where a rookie firefighter had gotten a hold of the sharing link and had shared it out. Wasn't necessarily supposed to. So some practices I've seen with some agencies that are using this pretty heavily, if they have a very secure mission that needs notifications, they set up the notifications ahead of time. But once that mission is complete, they go in and completely change the code going forward. To always kind of have some control over who might potentially be viewing. And again, if any of you guys have ideas on ways to better that system, I would love to hear them. The only way this product continues to get better is with feedback.
I think how we're going to do that is in your contacts, even though they may not be a user on our account, we're going to put those other agencies that we've shared that mission with in my contacts list. So if I do need to change that mission code for whatever reason, I'll just blast that out to that primary point of contact list, and then now they've got the new code.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. And Brian, just to be clear, this is the same code that another agency uses to log into the mission. The difference for Magic Link is that they are going to the website instead of logging into DroneSense. So yes, that code works in multiple ways. The code, when used in the Magic Link, whether you're on any computer, desktop, laptop, tablet, etc., that code, when added to the Magic Link, will take you to the list of active aircraft within that mission. That code, when shared with other organizations, can either go into this add mission with code from an operations side, or here on the mobile app side, you can very easily hit the plus and put the code in there. And that's how we will use the code to access that mission from a collaborative standpoint, instead of just necessarily viewing the live feeds. I hope that's clear for you. Guys, we've got about 9 minutes left. I'll give it just another a minute or so. If there's any other questions, comments, concerns, feel free. Again, for those of you on the call that do not have the Magic Link functionality on your account yet, if you'll please send an email to help@dronesense.com and/or joshua@dronesense.com, we can get that activated for you immediately. Again, no extra charge or anything like that in using the functionality. I want to thank you all for spending some time with me today. This has kind of been one that I was really excited to put out there because, again, this is a fairly new feature. Once we wrap up today, any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to shoot them my way. Again, thank you all for your time today. If there's no other questions, we will go ahead and wrap it up there.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.